champion, Bugha!
Hoisting a massive golden goblet in the air, this morning 16-year-old Kyle Bugha Giersdorf is waking up $3 million richer after being named to the first ever Fortnite World Cup champion.
In our world, gaming and esports is still young. As an industry and a community, we are still rapidly developing. We grow every single year, as more and more people start to learn about it, understand it, and acknowledge professional gamers as professional athletes, e-athletes.
Slot in between basketball players. They are digital athletes. They're professional digital athletes.
Like thumb wrestlers.
Well, no, look, when you think about, I think about what it took for me to become a professional athlete. Took a lot of concentration, a lot of dedication, practice, preparation, stamina. And the more I watched my son pursue this career, and the more I watched him introduce me to the world as it is, which is professional gaming. They're sponsored. They have careers. They make hundreds of thousands of dollars.
In life, there are many things that have very big learning curves. If you grew up your entire life playing sports, going to practice, and watching it on television, you know quite a thing or two. You know how the sport works, how the game is played, who the players are, and most importantly, why it even matters. Imagine watching an NFL game and not knowing the difference between the value of a preseason game, one that happens before the season even starts and doesn't really count for anything, versus the Super Bowl, the most important game of the year. Oftentimes, the older generation is the one who suffers the most in the category of electronic sports and video games. But honestly, it's not really their fault. You can't really expect your grandparents to understand esports, the idea of professional competition for video games, because when they were born, there likely wasn't a single video game that even existed yet. And in the case of gaming, there are some very skilled kids who perform at an unimaginably high level. As recently as a month ago, a 16-year-old won a Fortnite tournament for a prize of $3 million. A kid that was driving his mother insane for how many hours he was putting into Fortnite, a kid who sat in his room for hours on end, a kid whose mom just wanted him to go outside. Come on, please, just go make some friends, would end up shocking the world and bringing home $3 million. Today, I have the pleasure to tell you the story of another bright young star in gaming. His name is Bugha, and this season he hit Challenger in League of Legends at only 15 years old. The best part is, he's a mid laner in North America that plays mechanically difficult champions, and he pilots them like they're no big deal. His Zoe, Akali, Katarina, and LeBlanc are ridiculously clean. I spoke to him about what it's like to be at the top of the solo queue ladder at such a young age. I asked him what he thinks of competitive gaming, and of course that all-important question, what his parents think of it too. At the end of the video, please go check out his Twitch stream and give him some love, because he's a super humble kid that definitely deserves more viewers. To start off, one of the first things that I felt like I wanted to know is how long has he been playing League of Legends for, and how long he's been playing games for. It would be interesting to talk about, because it seems from the outside looking in that he's a mechanical god walking among men because he's able to hit such a high rank at his age. Surely he just picked up the game and was instantly naturally good, right? His talent is just off the charts. Well, the answer may surprise you.
I started playing League in Season 1, not really competitively, not even opening up a ranked lobby, just playing norms, even co-op versus AI. I started playing ranked in Season 2, which I did place bronze, and the whole way I got into this is my father had League installed on his computer, and I just hopped into a game and tested it out, see if I liked it. Yeah, I didn't play any other MOBAs before League, but I played StarCraft actually quite a bit. It was my favorite game at the time. Even then, I'd say I was playing to improve. I was playing StarCraft to play ranked, to watch YouTube, to get better at it, watching people better than me. And that's how I got good and learned that competitive nature. There was a competitive scene around it, and that's what shows the most promise. There are people that are so much better than you, and that's more interesting because that means there's more to do in the game. There's more things you can be focusing on. Not everyone is improving in the same ways. Everyone is doing a different part, and that's what makes their individual playstyle unique.
Funny enough, that kind of response is exactly what I was expecting. By all means, I didn't think that Busio had just started playing last year and has played less than 1,000 hours of the game. Quite often, when you think about what makes someone so good at something, anything in fact, you kind of dip your mindset into the idea that they were just born to do that. Yeah, of course everyone has to practice, but some people just have it. Some people have that it factor, that X factor. Busio was born to be a great League of Legends player. However, the science of this matter would disagree pretty heavily. This is one of my favorite books, called Peak: Secrets from the New Science of Expertise by Anders Ericsson and Robert Poole. The main author is a psychology professor at Florida State University, and he's done 30 years of research and development into the science of what makes people good, the science of expertise, and what makes Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Steph Curry better basketball players than all of us. In the literal sense of the word, what makes Faker a better league player than me? What does he physically do? What does he mentally do to be better? Let's read a direct quote from the book, and ask Busio for his thoughts on it, as it's very powerful. I'm going to read the actual quote first, and then I'll kind of break it down on what it's trying to say in normal terms because it has that scientific jargon. They use these bigger words that aren't really necessary, if you know what I mean. So here's the quote from Ericsson. People believe that because expert performance is qualitatively different from a normal performance, the expert performer must be endowed with characteristics qualitatively different from those of normal adults. We agree that expert performance is qualitatively different from normal performance, and even that expert performers have characteristics and abilities that are qualitatively different from, or at least outside the range of those of normal adults. However, we deny that these differences are immutable. That is, due to innate talent. Only a few exceptions, most notably height, are genetically prescribed. Instead, we argue that the differences between expert performers and normal adults reflect a lifelong period of deliberate effort to improve performance in a specific domain. What this means and is essentially trying to say is that people who are experts in a field seem incredible and untouchable in a lot of ways to the average person. Michael Jordan, Frank Sinatra, Bryce Harper, Michael Phelps, Tom Brady. These people are or were at the top of their field. It almost seems as if they were born to do that. It feels as if they have some level of natural and unbeatable talent in their genetics. And while it may seem that way, based on their findings and research done over 30 years, it doesn't really seem all that true. They do note that there are a few exceptions that cannot be fixed, which he says is most notably height. You cannot become Shaq's height no matter how hard you try. You cannot be 30 years old and grow from 5'4" to 7'4". But what you can always do in your life is reflect a lifelong period of deliberate effort to improve performance in a specific domain. You can learn how to be better at something. You can practice practicing. You can learn how to be better and always continue improving. In the case for Busio, someone could say that he has natural talent. He's only 15 years old, after all. But to me, that can be a bad analysis. What they don't see behind the scenes is his effort, the grind to get better, the grind to improve. Ray Allen is NBA basketball's all-time leader in three-pointers made, and he has a quote about this. When people say God bless me with a beautiful jump shot, it really pisses me off. I tell those people, don't undermine the work I put in every day. Not some days, every day.
Yeah, so it's no secret we all start at the same level. As you said, talent isn't really a factor. It's more how you practice, how you improve. And how I practice is really VOD viewing, looking at your own gameplay, focusing all the time. If you're focused, you're retaining more information. You will be playing at your peak, at the best you will ever be playing if you are in the zone. And that's really how I improved. I've been playing the same champions, as you say, LeBlanc all the way in Season 3, and now here in Season 9, still playing the same champion. If you keep practicing, you will get better. Like, switching champions all the time, switching roles, it's fun, it makes the game more fresh, but that's not how you become the best. You have to be always doing the same thing over and over and over again, and throughout the years, you will develop skills that no one can pick up in a week. You can pick up in a year or 2 years. It's not a quick process, and that's how you improve. Quick and easy ways to just become better, just straight up, is just looking at your macro. Where you are on the map is insanely important. If you're side laning, there's an objective on the other side of the map, that could cost you the game. And being in the correct place at the correct time is how you get kills. That's how you build your lead. That's how you snowball. You don't even have to play aggro early game to get your lead. You just have to be pressuring 1 CS at a time, and that 1 CS turns into 25 CS, which turns into an extra item, which turns into that item mattering in a fight and then giving you a kill. You don't have to go for the level to outplay to win a game. You just have to be focusing on every small advantage you can get with the lowest risk possible. Because the higher risks that you're taking, the more likely you are to throw a game, and that type of playstyle is inconsistent and not the way to climb.
For Bugha, he didn't pick up League of Legends this season. He didn't start in Iron 4 and end up Challenger. Not even close. He's been high-low for several seasons. He's been playing for a very long time. He has games on his op.gg from Season 3 playing LeBlanc, a champion that he still plays to this day. The most powerful thing that he spoke about to me is the idea of VOD reviews. This is a term that is bounced around all the time in League of Legends. Players say watch your VODs, learn from your mistakes, watch your replays from a third-person perspective, and see what you missed while you didn't see it playing. He spoke on how it's boring, it's lame at times, and unfun, but that's the whole point. You are going to have obstacles and things that aren't fun, but that's how you improve. A basketball player doesn't always play their NBA games. Sometimes they have to shoot free throws. For Bugha, he has every intention to keep grinding and to go pro, as it makes sense as a career path for him. I think the idea of pushing for an esports career makes perfect sense, but I had to ask him that all-important and crunching question. What do his parents think? It can be really hard to convince parents about esports. To them, a generation that typically doesn't sit on the computer or gaming console all day long, it seems from the outside looking in that it would be impossible to make a career out of this. Every parent would see their child sitting in their room day in and day out, always on the computer, eyes glued to the screen, and think to themselves, is my kid really going to go anywhere with this? So I asked him, on a scale of 1 to 10, where a 1 is that they literally have never played a video game in their life, and 10 being that they play the game themselves and follow the scene completely, how much understanding is there from his parents about what he's doing and how good their son is at the game?
I'd say definitely up there, actually a 9 or a 10. For example, my dad watches my stream and he sees me facing Froggen in lane and he understands who that is. He actually does watch LCS. They support this because they understand that the improvement mentality and the learning mentality that you can get from trying to win and climb in an esport can be applied to other stuff. For example, in school, you can have a bad teacher who grades or assigns stupid assignments, and that's the same thing in League. When your team is running it down, trolling, you could focus on that. You could dwell on your team trolling and how it's holding you back, or you can really just focus on the things you can affect and you can improve on and what you could do next time. And if you even could do anything next time, if it's out of your control, there's no reason to worry about it. And that relates back to League and back to school.
Thankfully for him, he has the full support of his parents. And to have that level of support can feel pretty uncommon, especially given how new all of this is. It can be hard to get the approval of the older generation, but in the case for him, I know he doesn't take it for granted how hard it is for a parent to understand sometimes. Through an uncountable number of hours of hard work, grinding, practice, Bugha is able to make the push to the highest level of competition these games have to offer. Even at such a young age, he keeps an improvement mindset, a growth mindset, which even helps him in his day-to-day life. Think about it this way. You could be struggling in your life, struggling to pay bills, and you could sit there and say, woe is me. My life is horrible. I make no money, I have no friends, I have no future, and I'm just stuck here forever in my bad life. Or you could at least try to do something about it. You can start to organize yourself. Spend that time you spend watching Netflix instead doing courses of online classes. Better yourself through knowledge seeking and find a passion and a hobby. Go outside of your comfort level. Go try to make new friends and new places that you would never think of going yourself. Go to the gym. Eat healthier. Keep your living space clean. And the same way a 15-year-old gamer could blame his age, his parents, his maturity, his teammates in the game, or the game developers, he could instead improve. He could do everything he can do to get better and have the right mentality and the right approach. It's certainly been a great experience talking with him, learning the ins and outs of what it's like to be a successful young gamer, and I hope to take his growth mindset and apply it to my own life as well. I would love to apply what I've learned from Bugha and what he does in League of Legends to my League of Legends career and my channel. Growth is inevitable, as long as you work hard for it. So just remember that next time your teammates go 0-15.